X-Men Days of Future Past came out in 2014. It was directed by Bryan Singer and stars basically everyone from the original X-Men movies and X-Men First Class. In the future, mutant hunting robots called Sentinels have taken over the world, slaughtering millions of humans and mutants along the way. So in order to change these dark times from ever taking place, Wolverine is sent to the past to stop some events from occurring that led to the creation of the Sentinels. I remember during Memorial Day weekend of 2014 seeing the trailer on television for X-Men Days of Future Past on repeat, and the song Kashmir by Led Zeppelin kept playing, and that's the sole reason why I wanted to watch it. Keep in mind, I never saw any of the X-Men movies at that point when this movie came out, and I thought it looked good just by watching the trailer, but mostly it was just because of that Led Zeppelin song. I even recall that year many people were saying Days of Future Past was the best X-Men movie to date and one of the best movies of 2014. I did not see this movie until maybe 2018 or 2019, and the first time I saw it, I'll be honest, I liked it a lot, but I did not think this was a great movie. I thought both First Class and Apocalypse were better. After watching it a second time, my thoughts have changed. I like this movie even more and would go as far as to say that this is a great movie, but I still don't think I like it more than First Class. The way I see it, this is the X-Men movie that feels like the Avengers Endgame for X-Men. This, in my opinion, should have been the last movie of the 20th Century Fox X-Men films, at least when you look at how large the scales are for each and every single one of the X-Men movies. This, out of all of them, has the largest scale, and that's one of the best aspects of the entire movie. Saying there is a lot at stake in Days of Future Past is an understatement. This movie's scale feels immaculate, and looking at it, there are many moving parts. It's a lot going on with both the future and the past. A lot of that has to do with integrating not only the characters from First Class, but also having the original cast back in the fold in Days of Future Past. Which, by the way, let me say, seeing the old cast and the new cast in the same exact movie is marvelous to see. Getting Hugh Jackman to reprise his role as Wolverine is incredible to watch, along with other actors such as Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Halle Berry. Everyone is back in this movie, and it is so much fun. It's almost as if this movie is a sequel to both The Last Stand and First Class, except this movie is way more true to the screenplay of First Class than it is to The Last Stand, but I can only imagine how people were feeling watching both casts on the screen at the same time back in 2014. I wish I got into X-Men way earlier because I can only imagine how cool that would have been to watch. In the early stages of Days of Future Past, you can tell that there is a huge shift in terms of tone. This movie is much darker than its predecessor, First Class. The opening sequence alone is extremely dark. We see many dead bodies piled on top of each other. The Sentinels, these things are deadly. They don't give two Fs. They will do whatever they can to eliminate both humans and mutants. Not to mention, they kind of look like the Deadlights from Pennywise and It. I did not get to talk about the cinematography of First Class as much as I would have liked to. It is great. However, I would like to argue that Days of Future Past cinematography looks even better. It's so smooth. The camera moves with little to no lag. The action is precise. Everything looks so good in Days of Future Past. This might be the best looking X-Men movie of all time. And when you have an original cast coming into the same movie as a newer cast, of course you expect to have a lot of fun, and that's exactly what this movie is. Fun. From start to finish, I have a blast watching Days of Future Past. I can't talk enough about how original Days of Future Past is for a superhero movie. Yeah, it does integrate the time travel sequences that we've seen multiple times before in cinema, but it does something different with it. Something we've never seen before in a superhero movie is getting both past and future versions of characters we love. We're also introduced to a very likable character in the form of Quicksilver, who is one of the best characters in this entire movie. Unfortunately, he is underused in Days of Future Past. I wish he was in this movie more. He's probably only in the film for about 10 or so minutes, but when he's on the screen, you grow to like this guy so much. And even though this movie goes down some dark routes routes, it is once again another light X-Men movie, filled with memorable dialogue, character moments, and great scenes such as Quicksilver when he's in the Pentagon. That is, I believe, the first time that's ever been done on the big screen, and many movies after this film came out copy that. Sonic the Hedgehog, you're one of them. As for things this movie does better compared to First Class, one of them has to be the emotion. I don't think First Class is not an emotionless movie. It certainly has its fair share of emotion, but compared to the large scale that Days of Future Past has, I can't see a valid reasoning to say that First Class has more emotion than Days of Future Past, considering this movie does feel like the finale to the X-Men franchise. Some of that emotion is earned, and other times not so much, because you think back to X-Men The Last Stand and wonder, why would I be getting emotional right now at the end of this movie? I should not be, because you guys should never have killed off some characters that we really love in X-Men The Last Stand. But you did. And the finale is another thing I like more about this movie than First Class. I love the finale in First Class, but Days of Future Past ending has so much more at stake, at least in my opinion. It's not just about Russia versus the United States anymore. This is about human extinction. This is one of those heart-pounding finales. If you're watching this movie for the first time, you have no idea where it's going to go. Each character decision could possibly mean the end for humans as we know it. And I don't really think I've spoiled anything thus far in this review. If you feel like I have, I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best not to spoil really anything. But right now, I must spoil one of the last scenes in Days of Future Past, because if I don't, then this review will not be as good as I would like it to be. So, with that said, at the end of the movie, Professor X, Wolverine, and Hank save the day. The creation of the Sentinels is no longer, and because of some wise words of advice said from Wolverine to Professor X, Jean Grey and Cyclops are no longer dead, unlike what we thought at the end of X-Men The Last Stand. The first time I watched Days of Future Past, I was shocked to see these characters back in canon, especially James Marsden as Cyclops. I can only imagine how true X-Men fans were feeling back in 2014. I'm sure they were so excited. If only these two characters were in more movies in this form. That's really a shame, but at least we have their younger versions. The way I view Days of Future Past, this is a more entertaining movie than First Class, but it's more flawed. Obviously, having time travel is going to mess up the continuity of the X-Men franchise, as if the continuity in this franchise was not already screwed up. But besides that, my only big problems with this movie are the motivations coming from both Mystique and Magneto. Why do these characters feel the need to kill Peter Dinklage's character so much? Like, just listen to Professor X and Wolverine. Just hear them out, because if you go ahead and commit this act, then the Sentinels will be created and almost all the mutants will be killed in the near future, including yourselves. So, yeah, I don't understand why Magneto and Mystique don't want to listen to anyone, because clearly they're telling the truth. It's just so stupid. Those are my only real big problems. As a whole, Days of Future Past is a complete blast. This movie is so much fun, extremely entertaining. It's great to see the old cast and the new cast in the same exact movie. It's a true summer blockbuster, especially with its epic scale and surprises. I'm giving X-Men Days of Future Past a 95%. Look guys, even though 20th Century Fox's experiment with the X-Men franchise went down a pretty poor route, at least we have two great movies in the form of First Class and Days of Future Past. I would go as far as to say that these movies are some of the greatest superhero movies ever made. If I were to compare them to the MCU films, they'd be somewhere in the top 10, the top 5 as for rankings. That's how much I love these movies. I just really wish that Disney did not have to buy 20th Century Fox, because now we'll never get another good X-Men movie probably, unless it's in the MCU. So much fun. I'm going to miss it, guys. But anyhow, if you also love X-Men Days of Future Past, let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know. As always, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.